Yes, yes, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something on this beautiful Saturday morning. I know it's scheduled, projected to be a little bit of rain, and that's okay. That's all right. We welcome it. Bring it on. But my question is this: when was the last time you saw a child wake up or walk up to another child and say, "Before I introduce myself, let me spend 6 months overthinking it"? Never, 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 never. Hey guys, listen, today on Something That's Powerful Saturday, we're going to be talking about exactly what we can learn, as the caption says, what kidpreneurs teach us about business success that most adults have forgotten. And so they're not going to go up to them and tell them, let me introduce myself, but let me spend 6 months overthinking it. Never. Kids don't do that. They simply ask questions, they make friends, and they try things. They fail, they laugh, and then what happens is that they try again. Meanwhile, we adults spend years waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect logo, the perfect website, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions, and the perfect circumstances. And you realize that never happens. And while they're waiting, someone else is building the business, right? I've already told you guys this. Here's the thing, guys. I want you guys to understand and realize that someone somewhere less qualified than you is out there doing the thing that you want to be doing simply because they took action. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So welcome all of you new cool kids here in the Fun Life community. Thank you for hanging out with us in the Fun Life Coaching. Again, if you want to connect, johnnywan.com, right here, funlifecoaching.com. Go on there, connect. This is the Childlike Faith Podcast for all of you Christian entrepreneurs who want to grow and scale your business so that you can achieve the financial freedom you're looking for without having to sacrifice your time, your family, your faith, or your joy. And that's what we're going to be talking about. But today, guys, we've got a special thing because we're going to be presenting to a special group of kidpreneurs. These are kids launching their business, already have launched their business, or in the ideology stages of wanting to launch their business. I think it's ages 8 to 14. I can't remember exactly the ages, but we're going to be presenting here in about a couple of hours, and we're going to go over there. And I just wanted to come on here and share with you some of the things that maybe we as adults have forgotten that we can learn from the kidpreneurs. So if you're a business entrepreneur, a business owner, or something like that, hang tight because we're going to be sharing with you guys some ideas and concepts that we're going to be teaching these kids that we may want to go back and revisit. So here's the thing, guys. We're hosting this Kidpreneur Academy. And the funny thing is, I'm convinced more than ever that the adults may learn more than the kids because kids naturally do the things that we've been conditioned out of, right? They're curious. They ask questions, right? I mean, whenever a kid started talking, they started asking questions almost immediately. But we as adults have forgotten that. And they believe big things are possible, right? They believe for the impossible. They're not afraid to dream. And most importantly, they aren't carrying around 20 years of limiting beliefs, things that we've been conditioned to believe. So here's the thing, guys. On Small Business Saturday, that's what I love about this, because we're going to be sharing with you and talking to you guys about the things that you can start doing right now, today, in your business that's going to help get you to that next level. And so whatever that is for you, hang tight, because we're just going to be on here for a little bit. And I want to help you be more, do more, and have more in this game we call life. And so the lesson number one, before we get started, again, don't overthink anything. We often overthink everything. The kid says, I want a lemonade stand. Then they go and they build it. Adults say, I'd like to start a business. And then they do months and weeks and months worth of research, analyzing. They compare, they worry, they delay, they procrastinate, they never take action. 3 years later, the lemonade stand has already expanded. It's already grown. You guys seeing that these guys, there's people out there with lemonade stands with a full-blown food truck. I'm telling you guys, the entrepreneur question is, what have you been overthinking? What question have you delayed because you haven't gotten that clarity, or you haven't gotten the certainty that you need? Remember, progress beats perfection every single day. Lesson number two, ask for help. They do. One of the most powerful traits children have is they naturally ask questions. Adults often they view questions as weaknesses, and kids view questions as learning. They don't know, they're going to ask. Successful entrepreneurs do the exact same thing. They ask, what am I missing? Who already knows this? Who already does what I'm doing? Who can help me? Who else has done this before? There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's someone out there that's already done that, and you can go and learn from them, right? Success leaves clues. And that's why coaching works, boys and girls. The right question can save us years of frustration. Jesus said it perfectly: unless you become as little children or like a child. Think about it. He didn't say become childish. He didn't say, he said become childlike. And there's a difference, right? Childlike faith, you guys know I love talking about this. Childlike faith believes possibility exists before evidence ever appears, right? That's the whole thing about faith. Hebrews, faith is the things of faith is those things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so childlike faith believes in the possibility before the evidence ever appears. And so entrepreneurs need that, leaders need that, business owners need that. And so lesson 3, I'm trying to go through this pretty quick because I want to share with you a little bit of what I'm going to be talking to the kids about today. And so they don't let fear stop them. You guys know for years we did the Faith Your Fears Friday, right? And so what a child learns to ride a bike, they fall. You know, watch them, go back and look at them. They get up, they fall again, they get up. Adults, we often fall once and create an identity around it. We're traumatized now because we're not going to go back and let that happen again. I guess I'm not good at sales. I guess I'm not a speaker. I guess I'm not a leader. Kids don't do that. They simply try that again. All right, lesson 4, they believe they can. They believe they can. One of the biggest differences between successful entrepreneurs and struggling entrepreneurs isn't skill, it's belief. Children naturally imagine possibilities, and adults naturally calculate limitations. So imagine what would happen if you approached your business with more curiosity, with more intrigue, rather than criticism. I know, I get it. So here's the thing: if you would just simply approach it with more faith than with more fear, all of a sudden there's more possibility than probability. And so you just have to be willing to get out there and do that. So the hidden lesson behind this, and here's what I've discovered in coaching entrepreneurs, is that most people don't need more information. They just need more implementation. If we would just act on 10% of what we already know, right? Most people already know they should follow up. Most people know they should ask for referrals. They should network. They should post content. They should make the call. And knowledge isn't the problem. That's the thing. Action is. Action often follows belief. And here's the thing I learned with Toastmasters, and this is our roast Toastmasters yesterday. We hit 24 visitors, 24 people in the meeting. We hit our goal of what we were after. Those of you guys that are following me along in the Smedley Distinguished, right? And so we were able to do this, but it all started because we started taking action. We started implementing. We started helping and inviting and talking to people. And so imagine 6 months from now, you stopped waiting. You stopped overthinking. You stopped trying to do everything alone. You got around the right people. You started hanging around the right people. You got some coaching. I know somebody, right? You got accountability and you gained clarity, guys. How different of a world would your business look like? How different would your income look like? How different would your confidence look like? Here's the thing, guys. You don't build confidence first. You take action, the confidence follows. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here really quick because I do want to share this with you guys. I'm telling you guys, this thing that we're going to be talking about today is the command the room. Your voice is your superpower. Yes, I know some people don't like this, but I love AI. AI helped me create this. It's amazing. We're going to help these young entrepreneurs be able to command the room, and their voice is their superpower. And if you've learned anything from me, you know that when you find your voice, you find your freedom, you find your identity, you find why you were put on this earth. And all of a sudden you realize that things really are possible for you. And once you realize that things are really possible for you, you're not nervous about public speaking. You're not nervous about getting up there. You're not nervous about what's happening, because here's the thing. Once you realize that you've already been given a voice, and that voice matters, your story matters, all of a sudden you're able to go to that next level, right? That confidence isn't given, it's built. And I'm going to be sharing with these guys, because there is a level. First, you're scared, but you're trying. And then you get better, and then you start to command. There's a progression, right? Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. And when you start to take those little steps, all of a sudden what happens is you start to level up. You start to get better ideas. You start to get better concepts, belief, the story. You speak, you start to lead, right? A leader is one that knows the way, goes the way, and then comes back and shows the way. And because look at every great brand, every great business was once a small business. And I don't even like using the word small business, but that's kind of how it's been done. I like to say growing business. You're a growing entrepreneur. You're expanding. You're constantly evolving. You're becoming better. You're doing more. You're doing a lot of things that you know you should have been doing. And so all of a sudden, you look at the facts. One of my coaching clients, we had to go back and look at the stories that we've been telling ourselves versus the facts of what we know. And when you start to do all of this, guys, I'm telling you, it's the story you keep telling yourself. The story. Here's the thing: people buy stories. They don't buy products. They don't. When people go to Lowe's or a hardware store, they don't go to buy the drill. They go buy the drill because of the hole that they need done. And so start to sell the story behind the hole and not the drill, right? It's the version. Like, for example, here we're using a bracelet. People have started business doing bracelets. You don't say I sell bracelets. What do you say? You say I started making bracelets when my grandmother was sick and I wanted to make her smile. And all of a sudden, you're starting to get a little bit better at it. And before you know it, you get this cheat code. And the cheat code is just simply repetition, right? Repetition leads to mastery. My coach always said that repetition is the mother of learning, which makes it the father of action, which ultimately leads you to the architect of accomplishment. And so once you're able to do that, all of a sudden you have a stronger posture. You know exactly what you're doing. You have the power, and you're able to, when you get up to speak, you're able to do it not just with confidence, but with conviction. So all of a sudden, you are able to sell without being salesy. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up right here, because here's the thing: when you know who you are, you know what you're doing, you know how to ask, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, all of a sudden, you put all that together, and it forms what I call the fun zone. And the fun zone is the place that you ultimately want to live at. And so whenever you start to do this, all of a sudden, you have to realize that people are going to buy you before they buy the product. All right, I'll stop there, because here's the thing: I could go on forever, but I want to be able to share with you guys those one little tips, because the real reason people hire a coach, let me just go ahead and put a plug in for this thing. You don't have to hire me, but hire a coach. Get somebody that's going to help you level up, because when you get clear on something, the best coaching isn't about motivation. It's about acceleration. It's about collapsing the learning curve. And so people go to college for 4 to 6 years hoping to learn enough to create a better future. And entrepreneurs hire coaches because they want to collapse the learning curve. The right coach helps you to avoid expensive mistakes. It helps you to gain clarity faster, take action sooner, increase confidence, and create the momentum that you need. And so that's why Olympic athletes have coaches. Top CEOs have coaches. Michael Jordan had a coach. Kobe Bryant had a coach. Top entrepreneurs have coaches that's going to help them do that. Not because they're weak, but because they're serious, because they know that there's something more that they can get. And so here's the thing, guys. My challenge for you is this: what would happen if I approached my business, if you approached your business with the curiosity of a child and the commitment of an adult? Sit with that question for a little bit. What would happen if you approached your business with the curiosity of a child and the commitment of an adult? Now, I get it. I know some adults have commitment issues, but that's where you get Hey, funlifecoaching.com. Let's connect. johnnywan.com. Again, this is the Christian Entrepreneur, the podcast for those Christian entrepreneurs who want to grow and scale their business so that they can achieve the financial freedom they're looking for without sacrificing their time, their family, their faith, or their joy. And so when you sit with that question, here's the thing. Some of us, you, us, we, the next breakthrough isn't another strategy. It's a different perspective. And if you're at a place where you're stuck, you feel overwhelmed, you're not sure where your next move should be, or you're tired of trying to have to figure it out alone, let's talk about it. Literally, I'm opening up a few slots for my one-on-one coaching. Go to johnnywan.com, book a call, and let's get on a Zoom call. No pressure, no obligation. Just a strategic conversation to help you identify what's working and what's not. And most importantly, what your next step should be. If it's not with me, I promise you, I will point you in the right direction. So give me a call, 903-570-0052, and just take the next step. And let's see if we can shorten your learning curve, increase your momentum, and help you build the business God called you to build. So remember, cool kids, children don't have fewer dreams than adults. Often adults have more excuses than the children do, because success isn't about becoming someone new. Maybe it's just about rediscovering the childlike faith you had all along, guys. And that, my friends, is something to smile about. Small Business Saturday. So what's the one thing in the comment section for everybody watching later on in the replay? What's the one thing you believed was possible as a kid that you stopped believing as an adult? Bonus questions. I got a special gift for you if you want to answer that question down in the comment section or DM it to me directly. What's one thing you believed that was possible as a child, as a kid, that you stopped believing as an adult? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you. Love you. Hey, have a phenomenal rest of your Saturday. Have a great time. Love you guys. Thank you. Adios.